Hey everybody, I'm Joe DeGanzik and this is Smarter Home Life. I am back with a product review. It's one of these kind of products in the smart home that you think after you've had it for a few months, you're like, how did I live without it? Like, what did I do with my smart, home existence that I just did not have this type of thing connected? And for me, I've been waiting for this type of product for years. Now the question is, what is it? Actually, the real question is, isn't it a little dark in here? It feels like I'm not properly lit. Oh, I know what's going on. Hey Google, open the blinds.
Here's some sunlight.
And this is what it is. This is the Soma Tilt from Soma Smart Home. It's a retrofit in-place upgrade to automate your mini blinds. This solution hasn't been available from other companies because traditional, regular, larger slat blinds, shades, vertical blinds, drapery and so forth, all tend to use those continuous running chains or cords, of which there are solutions from Soma and other companies. You put a little motor on the bottom of it and it rolls it along and it does its thing. This turns the little connector that normally you have, I should have it in my hand, but I don't, the rod that you have that can, tilt and control the amount of light coming in. And this simply turns it. It's a battery, it's a motor, it's a transceiver, it's a Bluetooth-based device, and has good battery life. We'll give you the specs either in the on-screen details or later in the video. So the installation process for Soma Tilt is pretty easy. There's some included double stick tape on the back of the motor box. You want to mount the motor box next to your mini blinds so that there's essentially almost a straight line for the connector cable to go from the motor box up to where your rod normally connects to your mini blinds at the little connector. They include a couple of different connectors, and if yours doesn't fit quite well, mine didn't, so just be creative. I'll just say that. But generally, it should cover 90 to 95% of all the different blinds. If you have a unique situation like mine, where you can't make a straight line and your rod is a couple inches in spaced, you can always put it kind of as an upside down U connector, but the battery life will be a little bit shorter. After the physical installation is complete, you'll connect the USB charging cable to the charge port on the Soma Tilt to activate it. And you can either leave it connected to charge it up, or you can connect the included solar panel so that you don't have to charge it every couple weeks. Then download and open the Soma Smart Shades app on your iOS or Android smartphone. Hold it next to the Soma Tilt so it will pair and find it. You'll then go through a calibration process of opening and closing the blinds and getting everything synced up and ready to go, and you are done. So in the Soma Smart Shades app, say that 5 times fast, you do have the ability for some finite control. I get a nice visual display of the blinds, or if this was a shade, it would be kind of more of a pull down, but I can just kind of swipe down a little bit to bring them just a little bit closed, and it updates. I wish there were presets that you could set up, but of course we'll go into that in a minute with connecting this to other things. And you do have the scheduling possibilities, but it does get a little bit cumbersome if you're like me, when you think, okay, open and closed is great, but I want some in-betweens as well. I guess we're gonna automate this thing, might as well have some custom presets. And so let's talk about that. So you can control this with other things if you get the Soma Connect Hub. Now, this is $149, and that's about in line with other retrofit upgrades. You can buy multi-packs and it gets it down closer to $100 each. The Soma Connect Hub, which is basically a Raspberry Pi in a fancy package, is $100. That gets you access to Alexa and to Google and to Apple HomeKit and Lady S. The problem is it's a little bit limited. Without going into all the technical details, they're not running the servers and stuff on their side of the world, or they're in Europe. But anyways, they're not running the servers to give you the full experience on Google or on Amazon, which means you can get voice control, but you have to say like, hey, Lady A, ask Soma to do this. It also, unfortunately, doesn't let you add it to routines. It doesn't recognize it as an actual smart home device in either the Amazon or the Google worlds. On the HomeKit side, it's not actually a HomeKit certified device, so when you add it to your HomeKit, ecosystem, you have to kind of check that little box or say okay to this is not a real device, but it does work. I've had it in place. I had the Connect and this device in place for about 2 months, and the performance has been solid, no problems at all. It does play completely in the HomeKit world, but not a certified device, so just know that. So speaking of HomeKit, again, it's great as a standalone device, but if you can connect it to something that can automate it, and I'm sure other enterprising individuals can probably hack this to make it compatible with SmartThings and other stuff. It's a Bluetooth device, by the way, and then the hub will get you access, obviously, to your local network and your Wi-Fi and so forth. So HomeKit, let's jump over to my home app, which has basically nothing in it. I've got my presets, so I can say open, and that would basically set it to a little bit farther closed, and then I can kind of push it all the way open. Obviously, if I tap on this guy, I get my standard little pull down, which this stuff is going to change. In iOS 13, they're kind of revising how HomeKit and the Home app looks. I'm going to pull this all the way back up to fully open. And there it goes. So that's HomeKit integration. Obviously, I could go into a whole message about this, but presets and triggers and all the different things. So apps are great, right? Presets. Obviously, I've also tied this in to my own Indigo smart home system with a few different presets of my own. I'll go into that in a much longer video because it's much more complicated. But of course, apps are great. Voice is great. I've done my own integration with Google through the magical world, again, for a future video. But apps, voice, not always the greatest solution. And using this after a while, I've okay, I don't want to jump into an app to control this. Maybe I want some more finite control. Maybe I just want some physical buttons to press. Now, it's a HomeKit device, so of course you can make it compatible with other HomeKit controllers like the Philips Hue remote, the dimmer remote, right? This is 4 buttons. I've made it 6 buttons. More on that in a future video because I've got finite control through dim and brighten. But ultimately, I've got the ability to open and close them and do a few other tricks. What's my opinion of it? Yeah, how do I live without it, right? I really don't know. Now that I've got the remote working, I've got voice, I've got the whole thing, it's great. I leave the blinds closed. I come home during the day, they open. In the morning, they open just a little bit so that I still have privacy because it's a shared property, but I get a little bit of light. It's really, really great. It's like the automated ceiling fan. It's like the August smart lock. It's like anything else that you automate and it gets out of your way and it just does what you want it to do based on conditions and time and schedules and triggers and all those fun things. I could have continued that lions and tigers and bears, oh my. But otherwise, is the device reliable? Yes. Battery life, for me, it's a little bit less because it's putting more strain on because of the U-shaped connector, the U-shape instead of the straight line. It's putting a little more strain. I get about 2 weeks out of it. You'll probably get at least a month. They say 50 cycles, so think about a cycle as a full open cycle or a full closed cycle. Do the math and you'll figure it out. Connect the solar panel charger and the batteries will be charged indefinitely. It's relatively quiet. It's not the quietest device out there. I think for what it is, it's pretty great. What else can I say about it? So $150 for the device, a little less in multi-packs, $100 for the Connect, for the hub. I really think you have to get the hub, and some of you might say, it's a big investment. It really depends on what you want to get out of it. It's early in this ecosystem in terms of these retrofit kits, so I think the prices will ultimately come down. Buy some products from Soma and help them bring the prices down ultimately over a number of months. So again, thanks Soma for sending this to me for review and making my smart home, smart mini blind control dreams a reality. That sounds really geeky, but I warned you about that. So it's time to end this video. So why don't we do this? Why don't we go and close this up? I'm not going to, let's close it up with this. So here we go. And let's close it up. Let's close up the video before I keep rambling on and on. I think it's a great product, and I am very, very happy to actually finally to say, yes, I've closed the loop on most of the things here. I've automated pretty much everything that I can automate in this tiny little home at this point. So look forward to the big documentary series that's going to talk about all of that stuff and more in August, and a few more review videos and some commentary on some of the things that I have not been able to comment on over the past few months. And otherwise, That's it. You can go to SomaSmartHome.com for all the information on this guy and their other products, and definitely check them out. Otherwise, check out the other videos right here on Smarter Home Life, and I'll be back with more smart home stuff. I'm Joe DeGanzik for Smarter Home Life, and I'll see you next time.